close with a few breaths in just a seated meditation pose, just like we started. Let's go ahead and take your hands to your heart space. And close your eyes and sit up nice and tall. Coming back to our intention of getting grounded in the chaos, allowing the earth to support us through these times. Chaos isn't going away, it is a part of life. But we can transform and adapt our relationship to it. Be more present, more resilient, bringing more kind awareness to those situations. As we release tension from our body, helps us release tension from our mind, from our thoughts, from our words, from our actions. Go ahead and steep yourself in that sense of being grounded, despite everything else going on, despite the 1,000 windows that may be open or populating, as our minds like to do. Bring it back to the support that you feel with the hands, your hands on your heart, with the support of the earth below you. Stay there with your eyes closed. And I'm going to close with a reading. So stay with any breathing pattern that feels good to you. This is called Getting Grounded in Chaos. Staying connected to chaos can be addicting. We desire the feeling of the adrenaline rush, and in this process, we can lose control. But if we practice groundedness in chaos, we can develop a healthy, enduring habit that will ultimately guide our families to be more loving and kind in intense situations and challenges. When things get chaotic, perhaps the situation calls for a deep breath, what I call a ha breath, because it sounds like we are breathing out the word ha. You inhale long, slow, and deep breaths through the nose, and exhale long, slow, deep breaths out of the mouth. And try it a few times during chaotic moments and notice how you feel. Or feel the earth support you when you root down through your feet or through your bottom, or by pressing your hands onto your heart space. Another time, it's just like I was saying, we have to combine that breath with movement in our body to help us calm down. When we bring our bodies closer to the earth, it helps calm the chaos too. I'm going to count down from 3 and slowly open your eyes in 3, 2, and 1. Something I want us to reflect on as we close our time together tonight is just taking a moment, taking some internal inventory on what do we notice right now. We can think back to where we were when we came. As I was sharing, I felt like I was in a 7 or 8. And where's our energy now? If 10 is the highest stress, most stressful that we are, checking in, what number would you give yourself? And I'm just gonna throw that out there to you guys. If anybody would love to kind of share, and you don't have to, no pressure. So true, and you know what I love about you sharing this experience with your students too, what's great is students are so curious naturally, many of them, and they might ask, what are you doing? You know, and you can, you know, do that positive narration about what you're doing, why you're doing it. And our kids learn so much more from us practicing what we're teaching than if I were just teaching them a pose and they see me doing it, like, oh, well, that must be meaningful. I'm gonna try that. And so you could start a whole trend. I don't know, you know, when you feel upset, time to strike a tree pose. That's one of many of my students. They have to strike that the tree pose. But indeed, it is something, oftentimes we think we have to be on a mat in a formal setting, like this, to receive that benefit. And many times it just looks like doing it anywhere, everywhere you are. It doesn't matter what anybody else is thinking or doing, because it's the shift that you want, right? It's a shift that you need. And that shift isn't just what's happening to you, because when you shift internally, everybody else is going to be positively impacted by that. It doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, they're going to come down from a 10 to a 5, but they might come down from a 10 to a 9.5, or a 10 to a 9, and someone else might come from a 10 to a 5. But because you have created that space by being intentional with how you're showing up in your chaotic everyday life, and you're showing a different way to have like a different relationship with it, everybody else takes notice, like, oh, that's interesting, I don't have to be that way. And with many students, even with the younger ones, it takes a lot of practice and just a lot of time. And so you can just hang out in tree pose, or like I said, one of my favorites is sometimes walking around the class. If I have a really busy, challenging class with a lot of students that are very busy, that can be a really big challenge for me personally, always wanting to keep myself in check, and I might just walk around so I know, where am I at in my body right here, right now. So thank you for sharing that. Anybody else want to share before we? Yeah, I have one more. I can't see names, so I would say your name, but
Mia.
there it is. Mia. Okay.
I was just going to say a couple things. One, I always carry a lot of tension in my jaw, and I love the idea of putting the tongue
Yeah.
there. I've never done that.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I liked that. And then also just the idea, I think bringing it into your life, um, it's like that. The more you practice, the more you'll remember to do that. But then also just that permission. I think practicing like letting the thoughts go and going into the body, for me, it's almost like I'm giving myself permission to do that whenever. And
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any sense, but like it just gets easier when you're feeling really stressed, like, oh, right, I can go into my body and feel my feet, or, and like that's an option.
It did. Yeah. It does
And
make
then
sense.
yeah, and the last thing I just wanted to say was it reminded me of I can't remember the author, but there's a book called Sitting Still Like a Frog, and she has a meditation of imagining you're the spider in your mind and you just drop down on a thread into the belly, and then you'll
Aw,
so
so cute.
thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm so happy you enjoyed the practice. And with the jaw, one of my challenges to everybody here, I'm a jaw gripper. Like when I'm stressed, I bite. And it's one that I constantly do throughout the day. Like, oh, what's happening here? If I feel tension here, you better betcha, you're gonna feel the tension everywhere else. And so if I can just bring the attention there to release the tension in my jaw and have that trickle down effect. And I appreciate, Mia, what you said about giving yourself permission, because a lot of times um, that's just a habit we build. Like, oh, this is what I do when I'm stressed. This is how you're supposed to be. This is all I know. And yet I can feel stressed. I can be at a 9. I can be at an 8, but I don't have to be like at an 8 how I used to be like 5 years ago. It looks different. I have more, presence to what's happening. And I can articulate, oh, I feel really stressed and this is what's going on and I need to do this. And many times I'll start narrating that to my students, like, oh, this is what I need to do. I feel so stressed out. I know it because my jaw is super tight. Oh, I can feel my heart is beating really fast. Whatever it is that I'm aware of, I can notice that and say, you know what? I don't have to be that way. Let's change that. And so when we do change that, we have that positive effect. Either it can be a small positive effect or a big one, but any shift that we can do. I can't remember who said this, but oftentimes we think like we have to take these big steps to go out and save the world, and really the world just starts right here with the time that we give ourselves to have that internal transformation. That's some of the most important work we can ever do. And so thank you all for being here tonight and giving yourselves permission to shift internally. And it's been awesome to be with you all. We made it. We're only 2 minutes over. So that reading was from Today's Gonna Be Awesome Sauce, Daily Meditations for Youth Parents and Families. And the card deck that I used was Today's Gonna Be Awesome Sauce too. This is the Earth card that I used. My students love, like every week I start with a new one. They're like, what's the art card? And what's the affirmation? And so it's a lot of fun. I work with metaphor a lot. So I really get them to think in really abstract terms at a young age, start to think about, what those things mean. And it's a lot of fun to see their little minds grow. Thank you all for being here. Anything you want to say, Tracy, as we close out?
Oh, I wanted to do a book giveaway and say,
oh yeah, the giveaway.
But so I saw your book is on Amazon. Are your art cards just available through your website then? Or
yeah, art cards. I can't remember if the art cards are on Amazon. I may have put them up there before,
okay.
but
I didn't actually look, but
they're definitely on my website. They're definitely on my website.
Okay. Well, I did a random number generator, and I have Carrie Abbott Walk as our giveaway winner. So Carrie, I'm going to put a little form for you to get me your address.
Thank you.
Sure. And then the other link I put in there is if you're a member and working, or potentially maybe think in the future you'll work towards getting 24 CEUs or PDs or a graduate credit, then just do the attendance sign in here for a live event. But I just thank you so much, Athea, and I would love to have you on again. I know we originally had a series planned for you, and so I think we definitely need to do that in the future.
Well, thank you, Tracy. I definitely gained some energy. Like I said, I was concerned just because it's been an exhausting school year so far, and I know we just got started. But I feel so much better, and like my stress level definitely has lessened, and it's been great to be here with you all. If you all listen to podcasts, make sure to check out Mindful Living with Athea Davis. I have a podcast, interview lots of great people, and also talk about many different topics, solo style. So definitely check that out. And if you guys are on social media, follow me at Athea Davis. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the places and spaces. So I like to share content related to mindfulness in schools and just mindful living in general. So I'd love to have you guys as friends.
I must say I've gotten a little addicted to like checking in with you each day, because I have to go on for other reasons. I'm like, you have a way with words and getting our vibes up. I don't know, you always, so I thank you for, because I know that takes time to do that. And so I appreciate that.
Thank you.